Well, when you've got the best players in Supreme Commander joining up for a 5 versus 5 and the game doesn't desync, that makes my life easy when it comes to picking a game. And so let's make a start. Very interesting map on the old Neuroxis map gem. We'll have a quick look at the particulars before we introduce our players. There's the mass reclaim. Locations dotted there across the map. Some larger chunks, some not so much. And we can see there's 29.5 thousand map across the board. Teams as we see them, the red team there on the upper west side, 10,728 rating points between the two, between the 5 players, I beg your pardon. So well over 2k on the rating. If we take a look at Team 2 down here in yellow, these guys 10,701 on the rating. That gives them a 5 points per player disadvantage or thereabouts. Team 1 in red with a 27-point advantage across the board. Alright, let's make a start then. We'll start in the forward slot here for Team 2. Why not? Is FTX Commando at 1,700. He is the lowest rated player on his team. It's been a while since we've cast one of these. FTX Commando there going UEF first land. To his right in green, we've got Delhi at 2,100. He's going Cybran first land. And we'll get Bran on the interim is Raffles Noob. He's going Aeon, 2,400, also first land. In the rear with the gear for Team 2 is Nomander. It's been really good to see some of these players again. In yellow, he's 2,300, going Seraphim first land. Seraphim with a M. And last but not least for Team 2, Burgundy Red is Brain Dead. He's going he's not going 2,200. He is a 2,200. He is going UEF also. Very quick Navy factory there, having gone first land. Switching over to the other team, then we'll start in the forward position in orange. We've got ourselves Resistance, 2,200 Seraphim first land, second air. I think I've come across Resistance before. I'm not sure if I've just not come across him. My memory sucks, or he's changed his name. All 3 of those possible. To his left in purple is Nuggets, 2,100 Aeon, someone who we've certainly featured on the channel several times, going first and second land in Aeon. Middle position, we've got ourselves Foley, the 2,500. One of the best players I think I've ever seen. Lends his weight to any map you give him. He seems to be able to deal with it, no problem. He's gone Seraphim, first land, second land. And the last 2 players, because the game's getting underway, in the rear with a gear for Team 1 is the Wiki. 2,500 also there. Oh, goodness me. What sort of a name is that? He's custom renamed himself to something that I shan't repeat at this early stage of the video. In any case, having gone first land there, khaki green. And last but not least, or maybe it is, at 1,500 is Gamer9 XXX, having gone first land in gold with the old Cybrans. First land, second Navy, looks like third Navy as well. And with that, introductions complete. We'll take a quick look. Map-wise, it's a 15 by 15 according to our ruler. Yeah, it's been about 2 or 3 weeks since I've last cast on the main channel. Was able to get a 3v3 epic, as it happens, over on Patreon. Welcome to Jonas, by the way, joining us over there. It's not been through a lack of trying. I do set aside at least half an hour most days, at least, sometimes much more, just depends if I'm free that day, looking for a game. And they've either desynced or fizzled out or one thing or another. So it's with great excitement when I woke up this morning and find ourselves with a game. Bomber here trying to pick off some of these engineers from No Man Dam. I mean, look at this guy. He's already got 800 mass and almost survives another bombing to get another rock. Commanders all over the place. Have a quick look at some of the orders there. Gamer 9 with a particularly aggressive move. Three kills for this bomber. Then getting picked up. Engineers here in the middle for both teams. Or will be once Wiki gets onto the scene. Joining Foley. FTX Commander widely backing off. 2v1 never goes well, especially when everybody's still bare. A few rocks remain. This central pond is actually completely landlocked. As you can see, we've got a very narrow bridge here. And we've got one on the mirror side. Those are the only 2 points that connect the two land masses. For a map gen, it is an interesting map. It certainly looks a lot different to many of the other map gens that I've seen. Don't know if they've tweaked with the template somehow that decides where the hills are and where the sea, but the coastline looks much smoother. Less jaggedy. Let's focus in here as Wiki, together with Foley, catch up with FTX Commando, who seems to be by his lonesome. He's going to have no choice but to run. I don't see really what he can do here. And he is making his way towards the ocean. He does have an ally to the right, Delhi, with a navy. Sends forward. This is unusual. Tech 2. Wiki here, no access to overcharge. Suddenly finds himself surrounded with 4 hover tanks from the UEF. The Riptide kills one, but then another one shows up and, well, the dumpster suddenly finds himself full up with UEF lasers, that is. And I don't believe it. FTX Commando, who was in a 1 versus 2 situation against 2 2500 rated players, manages to pick one of them off inside the first 8 minutes. Beautiful rush there. He didn't panic sending one Tech 2 unit out by itself. He waited until he had 4, sent them all up there. Banked on the fact that the opponents would not have access to overcharge, and it's paid off. 700 rating points between FTX Commando and the 2 players that were after him. That will have come unexpected. Both commanders down here on a more even exchange, 1v1. Although Brain Dead Commander joining the 2 very similar coloured players, Resistance and Waffles Noob. 3 of the 4 factions in the game featuring in this combat. Only the Cybrans are missing. Have a quick look elsewhere. They're not going as aggressive as we saw previously. Delhi having gotten himself a Tech 2 factory over here. Same over there for Gamer 9. Foley also with a Tech 2 Navy presence. That makes Navy 2 versus 1 in the top pond, favouring Team 2. And more even in the southern pond, I say more, even though it's not. Resistance is in there as well, which interestingly also gives Team 2 it also gives Team 1 up here a 2v1. So Team 1 with 2 players in each pond, Team 2 with only 1 player on each pond. FTX Commando continuing to run rampage with these with this Tech 2 rush, the hover tank from the UEF, the Riptides. Of course, being able to go across the ocean. You are playing against Aeon specifically as UEF. It was always critical that you got to Tech 2, or at least gave the commander the gun very quickly. The Riptide, of course, far outperforming the Aurora on the seas, the open seas. Looks like a naval engagement there that it's very close. But then, of course, Nugget sends in a wave of torpedo bombers. That will upset the balance. In the northern pond, things also going from bad to worse for Team 2. As Foley working together there with Gaver 9, shutting Delhi down right back into base. Right now, the silver lining for Team 2 is this Tech 2 hover spam raid from FTX Commando. I think actually we'll split the screen. As it appears that Braindead Commander may be about to be ejected from the seas. Just as well, FTX Commando's just killed a shedload of build capacity. Look at it all down there, all the wreckages on the floor of the sea. This is the naval HQ for the Resistance. Pun intended, and that has gone down. The Tech 2 Riptides now being joined by a few units here from Vaffles Noob. Likes what he sees from FTX Commando. Thinks I'll have some of that. Some floating shields together with flak to try and preserve the life of the Riptides. Sees it as a valuable addition to what's going on at the minute. The Tech 2 Naval HQ there from Braindead Commander going down. Although the units are beginning to fizzle out some. Nomander starting to send in a few torpedo bombers, going after the destroyer first. I think we'll go back to single screen. Oh, what is this? Delhi, in the middle of an upgrade, has been caught out. Gamer 9, together with Foley, have identified pings of desperation. Delhi's at 86%. I don't know what's happening. He doesn't want to stop. Perhaps feels it's not worth it. I don't know, he could have run into the drink there. I suppose he could have been pursued. Coulda, woulda, shouldas, never mind. Delhi is out, making it a 4 versus 4. We'll focus back in on the escapades of FTX together with Vaffles. We do see the 2 commanders down here. Nuggets, who is defending together with Resistance. And for now, just about able to keep him out. Nomander, whose torpedo bombers were used to clear up the defense somewhat, now coming after. Is it the naval yard itself? Yes, it is. That's not going to kill it. May knock off a few hit points. They're soon going to go back on. And Resistance, well, says he control K'd. Whether that was true or not, I can't see what killed him unless it blew up in the comm blast. Perhaps he just did control K, felt that his position was more or less done in. Feels Nuggets can do better. Sat on 2 bases. Yeah, he's on 2. Foley's on 2. Gotta say, FTX Commander holding particularly well. He's got 2 players knocking at his door with Navy. He's got virtually nothing. He is trying to get back into the drink, but it's a little late. He does, of course, have the Riptide that he's been using. But at some point, get diminishing returns with those against a Tech 2 Navy. Meanwhile, Vaffles Noob at the front door here. He's got the gun and the sensor suite. Not got the rate of fire, just one of the range upgrades. With a lot of escorting units there. Flax, shields. Makes for a very strong attack. Or attacking force, should we say. He's got to keep his units with his commander. Has now moved them up. As you see, there is one defending cruiser at least lobbing missiles in. Each one of these, providing it hits a unit, is more or less a guaranteed kill. Nuggets throwing down Tech 1 point defense. Of course, the commander can outrange, so can the artillery, but it does seem to be enough to force a delay. Baffles Noob not able to steamroll through quite as quick as I perhaps thought. These here are a mixture of hover tanks and flak. Again, Nuggets not really going in, just keeping them on the periphery, allowing perhaps a few overcharges too many there from Vaffles. Have a quick look elsewhere. Things not looking great for FTX Commander. Looks like he's about to be kicked out of the drink good and proper. This, of course, Vaffles, his teammate, offsetting. As we do have a bit of a clockwise motion around the map. Vaffles still on 12,000 hit points. Got some air support now from Nomander. Nomander, who's bringing in a strategic bomber as well, takes out some engineers working on Tech 2 point defense. Well, that was a nasty shot. And suddenly Vaffles finds himself, he had a whole load of support. And of course, my girlfriend picks now to start messaging. A whole load of support. And it's suddenly fizzled out. He's below 10,000. More backup is coming through. Vaffles doesn't seem too concerned, but he is down to below 8,000. In come a few Mercies. Been a while since I've seen some of these. I love these new Mercy effects. I say they're new. They've been with us for several months now, but they do look good. Vaffles suddenly down to below 3,000. Or he's at 3,000, should I say. In comes another Mercy. And another. He manages to get himself into another shield. For reasons not entirely clear to me, Nomander is a little far back with his ASF. He's allowing Vaffles to take too much damage. Vaffles is on the retreat. He's got Flax ahead of him, but it's not enough to stop these Mercies. Vaffles is on a 5-star rating. He's got nowhere else to go. In come 2 more Mercies. I'm not entirely sure here. Nomander's allowing far too many shots to come through. He's sub 500 hit points there. He surrounds the commander with support. In comes a huge wave of Corsair fighter bombers. Gamer 9 XXX takes the kill, and Vaffle Noob, or Vaffles, the highest rated player, is down. Now that the star player is dead, recall. What do you mean I'm not dead yet, says Gamer 9 XXX. The 1500 with a sense of humour there. That is one thing I've noticed with a lot of good FAF players. They have a real wicked sense of humour. Not all, but most. Wave of strategic bombers now from Nomander. Going after power facilities there from Nuggets. All 4 of those, I think, falling into a shield. Coming in for a second pass. This time they get it. Nomander on the ground fire there. 2 of the 4 strats are shot down. They, between them, getting 3 P-gens and a shield. Picking off a couple more Tech 2 mass extractors. They're both on extremely low health. One with 1 kill, one with 42. If we take a look at the veterancy, not a great deal. Take a look elsewhere. Foley spreading like a cancer across the map. An untold number of factories here churning out spam. FTX Commandos holding still with, well, I was going to say the Riptides. These are the Blazes. Similar unit, different faction, doing exactly the same job, keeping the spam at bay quite nicely. Still more strategic bombers here from Nomander. Only 3 kills between these two guys. The cruisers here from Foley doing an incredible job at holding back the spam. I think a little while ago I saw some request for ground fire. Perhaps rather than shooting at the units, shoot at the path that they're all trying to take. And I think that's what stalled this attack. This is not good for Nuggets. He's backing off. Suddenly he's being attacked by a whole bunch of destroyers. Nuggets is on 5,000, 3,000 hit points, 2,000. Another broadside, and that's going to be it. Nuggets, the 2100, is down, making it a 3 versus 2, favouring Team 2 here on the south. FTX Commando now with a whole bunch of Corsair fighter bombers, a whole bunch of Blazes. We see Gamer9 with a similar idea here, trying to set up shop, trying to overwhelm the player with spam. But these hover tanks doing an amazing job. A whole bunch of Corsair fighter bombers in reserve. Things not going too bad for Team 2. FTX Commando also with the... How's this frigate got itself 2,600? It's a 5-star frigate. Is it 5 or 4-star? Never can tell with the Aeons. With, well, 1 kill. Got 1 kill as it was dying. It's second. Brain Dead Commander here. With attack missile upgrade, lobbing in the missiles versus Foley's base, trying to take out Tech 2, or at least one of the bases he's been handed off. And is there a response? Well, yes, there is. Foley, like, he's managing 3 bases, if not 4 at this point. He's attacking on multiple fronts, and he still has an eye to spot the attack missile and respond. Unbelievable. All these factories are Tech 2 going on Tech 3. I think that's perhaps a little greedy from Foley there. Commando, FTX Commando spots the opportunity and goes after an entire string of factories with Corsair fighter bombers. I mean, that was a big investment. Most of the factories over here have been dealt with as well. And FTX in white there, holding quite nicely. Sat on... I was going to say 3 bases, but the forward has sort of been wiped off. He's sat on 2, which is interesting, as the 1700. The 2 2K players sat on a base apiece. Could argue Nomander. Is that a base? Not really. It's a forward operating base of sorts. Brain Dead Com with a whole string of T2 factories trying to come round here. Team 2 have been very good at dealing with the navy of Team 1, considering they were outnumbered 2-1 across the board. Of course, that left Team 1 weak through the middle. And Team 2 were able to exploit that. So there's not going to be any pause in action on a game like this until it's over. So we'll take the opportunity to have a look at the mass totals. And Team 1, which is includes Foley there, the first team to hit 700 mass per tick. Team 2, 60 mass or so behind. It's just under 10% advantage that for Team 1. And taking a look at the totals, it's neck and neck. Look at that, 682 as we look at it a piece. Of course, measured in thousands. Again, a huge wave of fighter bombers here. That 71 of them just selected there. A further 10 somewhere else on the map. And Gamer 9 taking on the Corsair fighter bombers. Now, one thing I will say for fighter bombers, their air-to-air capability is so much better than it was years ago. And so although these ASF would have been able to clean up once upon a time versus these fighter bombers, in this day and age is just not the case. I mean, look at it. Sure, they inflict damage versus the fighter bombers, but that was a comprehensive win there. Yes, Nomanda's in the area as well. That'll assist, of course. There are still 67 of the 70 that were in this clump, although this won't last. Flying over flak. Too many of them flying over flak. The numbers are disintegrating. Goes after a Tech 2 Air HQ. Oh, it seemed like it did. Leaves it online with 122 hit points. The fighter bombers continuing up north. Take out a Tech 3 mass point. Take out the cap of another Tech 3 mass point, but are not able to kill it. And with that, a huge wave of fighter bombers defeated. Got our first experimental here from Nomanda making its way up towards the mid on the 26th minute. More sounds of strategic bombs falling off there. As Foley breaks through with a few blazes. Doesn't seem to be too many units otherwise able to deal with. In fact, Brain Dead Commander does dispatch a destroyer to chase him down. FTX Commando has gotten himself a few more fighter bombers. But here is our first engagement with a chicken. Foley's got a chicken of its own. That's one-on-one with the chicken. Foley's chicken had slightly more health. Nomanda's chicken has the air support and really does have the air support as FTX Commander comes in with another wave of fighter bombers. One-shots the remaining hit points on that chicken. And Nomanda, who came into that battle with slightly less health, leaves with 26,000 hit points. Wiki stating the obvious that there's a reclaim there. I think there's lots of reclaim on this map. I suspect his it's some dry humour related to the fact that there's going to be 0 APM left. In comes the chicken. Slow time down a bit and see what he can see. As the forward base belonging to Foley comes under heavy fire. The chicken escorted with a whole bunch of Tech 2. The Riptide together with, well, I assume, yeah, we do have the shields and no doubt flak. Let's lose the cinematic cam so we can see what's going on. Always used to frustrate me watching casts when streamers spent too long on the cinematics, because it makes it nigh on impossible to see what's actually happening. And it does look good. Chicken gets its second rank of health. It's very low on health. Foley with a huge number of blazes here. And a chicken of his own, a new one, a full health one. Surely that's going to be the end of Nomander's chicken. It's going to go down with 91 kills, which does, of course, include Foley's first chicken. And Braindead Com on the retreat. Credit to FTX Commando for not allowing this Navy to really make any headway. We've seen 2 or 3 attempts from Team 1 to try and expand on this coastline. FTX Commando's been able to hold them back. Nomander's still got hold of his factories through the mid. And Braindead still on the western flank. Space here not looking as strong as it did. But Foley is pushing out with this chicken. Escorted by a whole bunch of flak. Keeping a whole bunch back in reserve. And the chicken making a move for this peninsula here. That Braindead is set up very nicely on. Foley with a second chicken over here, also full health. We've got an attack brewing on the other side of the map. Gonna have to follow both of these. Bunch of whalers moving down from Gamer 9. The 2 chickens from Foley. And I think 1 chicken may have been stoppable, but with this second chicken following it up. Interesting decision there from Gamer. Flies right over the base. Moves down. But Foley looking unstoppable now on this western peninsula. Although there is a Soul Ripper that's moved in from FTX Commando. Yeah, these whalers here doesn't look like they're going to get as much done as I perhaps thought. Go back to single screen. Braindead there, apparently defeated by Foley. I did not witness the shot. They were certainly close. I thought he might be able to get away in the drink, but apparently not. Units, what's left of them, goes over to Nomander. This is now a complete lost cause. Nomander does resume building. Personally, I'd have put out some T1 engineers and tried to reclaim if I could, but regardless, that is over. We do, however, have the Soul Ripper here from FTX. A whole bunch of strategic bombers as well. Looks like they're just trying to thin out the spam. I don't know if you can really call it spam when it's Tech 2, but when Foley's playing, you can. Shaving off a few of the hit points. Do have a Navy encroachment. Look at this into FTX Commando's side of things. Gamer 9 sprouting legs on the Cybran destroyers. Wasn't to be. I'll keep a track on the Soul Ripper. It's still full health. It's only got 9 kills. Starts to run into some anti-air. The hit points shedding awfully quick. It's down to below half health. It's still struggling to get any kills. It's still got 9. Oh, suddenly gets 13, 15. Walks over Baghdad, or flies over, should we say. 1991. And an underwhelming experimental, to say the least. Out comes a nuke from Team 2. Gamer 9 realizes it's his number and evacuates with as many engineers as possible. He did try to have a nuke defense. It was just over half built. Loses a few engineers more than perhaps he would have liked, but holds on to the majority. Is of course a crucial play. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Foley is moving in versus Nomander's base. Ironically, the mirror position of the base that we've just seen the nuke go into. We have a chicken at full health, the other one at 2/3, and a whole bunch of spam. But what's this? 4 destroyers to try and defend. 3 cruisers. Will at least be able to shoot at any units that decide to stand still. There's a whole bunch of triads gone on the coastline. And Nomander with a chicken of his own just in time. The lower health chicken there sticks its head above the sea and is primaried. And actually, that attack fizzled out awfully quick, did it? I thought Nomander was in a spot of bother there. Although, well, looks like the let's call it the Ion Storm. I'll go with it, the Ion Storm. It looks like it inflicted more damage to the base than the units did themselves, which isn't entirely unheard of. Alright, 36 minutes. And Foley once again with a chicken. FTX Commando again with the Tech 2. Nomander puts a couple of strats in. We've also got a Soul Ripper. And that's enough to dissuade Foley from pursuing any further. Gamer does pick off the strats with his limited number of ASF. Gamer, of course, with the base. He's going to struggle to produce more of those for a while. And these hero destroyers here from Nomander. Pursuing the retreating chicken, but as one retreats, 2 more coming down from Foley. Finally able, it appears, to clear out that central area that Nomander's had all game. I think it's fair to say. Eco-wise, they're both, well, Team 1's still about 50-60 mass per tick ahead, or thereabouts. Let's take a look at mass killed. Advantage to Team 1 there as well. Soul Ripper here. Just keeping Foley at bay, preventing these setups from becoming too dangerous. It's costing the Soul Ripper a lot of hit points, but it's getting a lot done. It's almost at its first rank of vet. We have Nomander with his strategic bombers continuing to go around. Of course, they're not too bad against flak. Probably the best air unit versus flak. Few T2 gunships here from Foley trying to go around the side of the map. I mean, it is only a few. It's nothing too scary for this stage of the game. Nomander on the ball is going to pick those up. Doesn't even reach land. Bug here with 103 kills, just 3,000 hit points left. Did get its first rank of veterancy. Commando brings it back. 3 chickens there in the mid. 2 more coming down from Foley. Gamer, who's he's still trying to rebuild. He's prioritizing the nuke defense, which is understandable. Not worse than rebuilding a base and having it nuked before you've managed to rebuild the nuke defense. Of course, the catch is you need the eco to build the nuke defense, and then it's it'll only build a missile if you're not stalling, right? Commando with a new bug has the lower health one further back in reserve. Foley with another push. 3 chickens here without any air cover. Do have a few 4 flak units further back. 2 more chickens in reserve, but again Foley forced back. I mean, what can you do? Can't just let T4 air experimentals shoot at your units for free. A few distractionary gunships, I suspect, as Foley retreats into a wall of flak. Whole bunch of gunships here from Nomad. I mean, these are just so vulnerable to the flak. And FTX Commander switching gears now with the chicken. I have to say, man, I realize 1700 is well above the average, but it ain't for this game. But FTX Commando is not playing as though he's below average. It's like almost every time I see it's FTX Commander this, FTX Commander that. And yeah, switching gears with the T4 land as he tries to defend versus these chickens. The Soul Ripper's going after the chicken furthest away from air cover. He throws his chicken in, and the Ion Storm is surely going to pick off this guy. And indeed it does. Commander lobbing in a strategic bomber with understanding. Boy Racer going by. It was almost a thing of the past, the whole Boy Racer thing. I remember pre-2008, pre-everything going wrong with the economy, they were everywhere at one point. Oh, chicken here's gotten primaried by a whole bunch of cruisers. As the Soul Rippers there from FTX Commando turn into 3. Nomad does realise just before it's too late. T4 bomber there shot down. It does appear it got a bomb or 2 off. Sorry guys for missing that. It's actually kind of crucial, really. There's a whole several structures missing. Yeah, Foley's struggling with a way in. Does he get it? That's 2 chickens down. And Commando's still got this very heavily damaged bug that you can see he's had a bit of chance to regen. It's now a 4-star as well. How many hit points is that? 75 a second on the regen. I'll say it's three chickens as well. Give me a plan, says Nomander. I suspect he's talking to those beyond the grave. One telly. Talking about the support command units. Again, an air fight. Nomander, whose navy's a lot bigger than it was last time we saw it, is able to very effectively deal with the flak. 4 chickens here, and now 4 bugs. Foley just having a pop at the lowest health bug. Chicken there from Foley, vastly outnumbered. Foley's actually managed to creep in a chicken. Team 2 aware of it. Well, they see there's something on radar, but it's not piqued their interest. And again, this is why just single units without escort are so powerful in this game, because they don't always raise the awareness as when you see a huge clump of units down the side of the map. I mean, this is terrible. It's right in the base. It's finally gotten picked up, but not before it's begun discharging its main weapon inside FTX's main base. FTX actually bringing back all the bugs. That's feeling they're a bit too far forward. He's at least a chicken down. We're going to have to focus in on his base. Nomander's the first to get units there. It's taken those gunships a while to chew through the hit points. But these 44 kills belonging to the chicken, pretty high value. 22,000 in mass. It's going for the bug that's under construction as well as the units. It's now a 2-star chicken. Of course, the air HQ that's been such a huge problem for Team 1, that's about to go down. The Ion Storm's surely going to kill it. Well, that was a cheeky move. And as we get to minute 46, I was going to say, or at least I was expecting the economy for Team 2 to be in a much worse position following that attack, but it actually isn't. 1.1 apiece. Nuke out from Foley. Perhaps this will widen the gap. In fact, Team 2 was nudging ahead there slightly. Although over the entirety of the game, Team 1 is ahead. 2.15 million versus 2.01 million, which is around a 7% advantage over the entirety. Team 1 also with slightly more kills. 950 versus 916,000. In comes the nuke. Anybody got any defense? Well, I suspect the panic from the all commanders means no. And okay, not nice, but could it have been worse? I think so. But it was a pretty good target. Of course, half of Nomander's base that wasn't targeted, still under reconstruction. What is this? Glad I zoomed out there. Foley suddenly finds himself chased down by 2 teleporting commanders. I think this is what we saw on the menu. Starts building Tech 1 torpedo launchers using the support commanders. Foley is a Tech 3. He's got nano. He's got 37,000 hit points. Starts spamming out Tech 2 transport aircraft, of course. Assuming Nomander's paying attention, he'll be able to build a SAM or something. Torpedo bombers come after him, and the support commanders are teleporting to another location. Here's one. The second support commander teleporting towards the strategic missile defense here. Foley's got 2 of them under the shield. There it goes. was identified. Oh, that's one of the nuke defenses down. I assume Team 2 have a nuke ready, otherwise what's the point of all of this? There is the defensives are. So yes, the nuke defenses are down. I'm not sure what much else is going to be done.
Strategic launch detected.
And is that the nuke? No, it isn't. It's the nuke from Foley. You'd have thought with coordination like that, it could have only been from Team 2, but no. Nuke coming down. Foley now with a huge number of ASF. In fact, numbers not seen before. And a load of German funny looking Bs. I think they mean double S. It's perhaps so they can say SS without saying SS. In any case, the nuke impacts into Team 2's base and Team 2's air. A shadow of its former self. FTX Commando, who's had these bugs that have performed so valiantly, defended their base for so long, suddenly find themselves without any air cover. FTX Commando realizes that's it. He lobs in the towel. That leaves no Manda holding it. Always the jokes about the throw in the game, and with that we have the end of the game. Yeah, I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, do ensure that you leave us a like and all of that good stuff. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, wherever in the world you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. From me, deep inside the UK, take care, bye bye. See ya.